Okay, good evening, book lovers of the internet. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe because for every subscriber, I get a new subscriber and they also read a page from a book of my choice. So it just dawned on me that I've been uploading every day for the past 4 days now. Today is the fifth day of me uploading once again, and in today's video, I am going to be once again, I suppose, reviewing more of Arhaan's story called Shadows of Perfection. Now he changed his channel name to The Storyman. If you'd like to check his channel out, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. So basically, I read through the other emails he sent me, and I still think that there is a lot of characterization, a lot of description without any narration, and even the so called lines, the quotes he gives me for every character. They can't really make any sense without context, so I'd rather read a story where they're put into place so I can fully appreciate um, what the characters mean to say and who the characters actually are, because I can't really appreciate the way a character is written if he really doesn't do anything interesting. And this is unfortunately the case with the emails you sent me. So, and one thing I don't understand completely, which might be a bit of a flaw with your writing, Arhan, is I don't understand why achieving perfection at any cost is such a bad thing. Maybe it is something you have yet to explain. And I think that it might be because perfection is something that is quite subjective to understand. If you see me looking down at my uh, laptop keyboard, it's because I have some notes written down over here to know what I have to say about this short story. So, one thing that I think is crucial is you certainly have to reduce the amount of characters you have over there. As regrettable as this sounds, there are way too many characters and they are all over the place. And although the character traits and their personalities are interesting, um, you can certainly attribute some of them to the same characters without having to include so many characters, especially in such a limited amount of space. This is just a short story after all, and not a full fledged novel, at least yet. If you have in mind to write a novel, of course, feel free to keep as much um, characters as you have at the moment, but make sure to introduce them little by little rather than all at the same time. Um, One thing I have to say about Daniel Gray, who is quite an interesting character, I like his personality as well from the little I read about him. Um, I think that you should fix this about him, right? Is it really possible for Daniel to be such a diligent fighter and a heavy smoker simultaneously? Usually those two don't really work together, and you have to either pick one or the other. I understand that both are cool for a character to do, but it can't go both ways for Daniel, regardless of how many experiments he might have gone through. And if you're not going to explain this, then the reader won't really understand how this would work physically. Because after all, we know that Daniel is special, but in our eyes, he is still a human being, right? He might be modified, but still, we can't really think of him as an ulterior being without the context I mentioned earlier. Um, I would certainly keep the character of Bella in the story because her quotes are lighthearted, comedic, or sarcastic, and this would be perfect to reduce tension in moments filled with such an emotion. And Bella would be a perfect character to break the ice, perhaps with new characters or in a context where there is a lot going on and the reader needs a break from all the stress created by the writer, of course. Um, Okay, I think that is more or less what I have to say. Um, Basically, the main thing that I can criticize you about is to reduce the amount of characters, and it is also interesting that you include the details such as their IQ or their age. However, if you are going to introduce such high IQs, make sure that you yourself are capable of writing characters which are intelligent, rather than stupid or may do silly things which don't compare to their IQs, because that will obviously come across as a flaw. Now, during our live stream, we mentioned how it is more difficult to write something simple rather than something that is difficult to write about, right? Something that is tragic, perhaps. It is more challenging to write about something that is simple, something that doesn't take a lot of emotions, because many people will obviously relate with the hardships of life, but will have never really thought about the positives. So, if you want to go in the direction where there is so much negativity in the story due to the way that it's a world where everybody is trying to seek perfection, I suggest that you try to think of writing a character like Bella, for example, from a more optimistic perspective, and even try to apply her character traits in a lower sort of volume to other characters who also seek to be lighthearted. Of course, do not do this in action scenes, but rather when they're having healthy conversations which will build the characters. I'm not sure if my point is coming across very well, but I have to say that it kind of reminded me of the way the Red Room in the Black Widow movie works, the way the experiments, the Phantom Operative training, and the so-called Jace Daiichi sort of thing. I obviously don't understand everything yet, but you need to put everything together in order for me to have a full-fledged short story to read, review, and appreciate. So make sure to take your time before sending me another email. But the next time I want to see an email from you, I want your story to be um, completed, to be fully fledged, and rather than a summary, just a story which I can appreciate like I would any other. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing this with me, Arhan, especially if you're watching. And for the other people who are interested in this video, thank you so much for supporting my channel, and make sure to do anything you can to continue supporting it further. Check out the rest of my videos, shorts, you know what you have to do, anything to make this channel um, a more approachable place. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully very, very soon. Bye, guys.